You need a lot of money to make a lot of money. That is the most expensive lie the financial industry ever told you. To be honest, that one sentence has kept more people broke than any recession in history. Hi, I'm Penny. Today, I am giving you 4 specific investments that can change your financial future. We are going to look at them in order, starting with the one that costs the least and moving to the highest. This way, you will know exactly where you can start right now, without a fancy degree, an inheritance, or even good luck. But here is the secret. The most profitable nut in this list is actually embarrassingly boring. You probably drove past it today without even thinking about it. I am saving that one for last, because once you see it, every single thing we talk about before it will finally click into place. Before we get there, I want you to imagine something. Imagine someone pays you every single night to use a space that you do not own, you did not buy, and you never even took out a bank loan for. They stay. They leave you a 5-star review, and you make money while you sleep. I know, it sounds like a scam. It isn't. It is called rental arbitrage, and it is investment number 1 on our list. So, let's talk about how rental arbitrage actually works. Think of yourself as a bridge. You find a landlord who has a property for rent, and you sign a long-term lease. Then, with the landlord's permission, you list that same property on sites like Airbnb or Vrbo for short stays. The money you keep is the spread, the difference between the monthly rent you pay and the higher amount short-term guests pay you. The process is straightforward. You find a landlord, negotiate the right to sublet, put in some simple furniture, and list it online. But I have to warn you about the biggest mistake people make. Most beginners just list a generic apartment in a crowded city and hope for the best. That is a trap. To really win, you have to be very specific. For example, instead of just saying studio apartment, you should list it as a pet-friendly studio for fans near the stadium. That one specific detail will help you beat 40 other boring listings every single time. You can get started with as little as $500 to $2,000. That money covers your first month and some basic furniture to make the place look nice. From there, a single unit can bring in anywhere from $500 to $3,000 in profit every month. Now, you might be wondering if this means you have to answer text messages and change prices all day. It doesn't. You can use tools like PriceLabs or Wheelhouse to change your prices automatically based on demand. You can also set up automatic messages so guests get their check-in details without you ever touching your phone. That is real money from real estate, all without you ever having to own a single brick. But what if the product you were selling cost you absolutely nothing to make and nothing to ship? That leads us to our second investment: digital products. Imagine making something one time and selling it 1,000 times, without ever having to buy more supplies. A digital product is just a file, like a guide, a checklist, or a spreadsheet. That helps someone solve a problem. Because it is a digital file, there is no inventory to keep in a warehouse and nothing to ship in the mail. You create it once, and it can sell forever. The way this works is simple. First, you find a problem that is causing someone stress. Then, you create a simple solution for that problem and package it into a file. You list it on a website like Etsy or Gumroad and send people to that page. But here is where most people fail. They try to make a product for everyone. They create a budget template and wonder why nobody buys it. The secret to making this work is something I call the specificity principle. Instead of a general budget, try creating a budget spreadsheet for American freelancers with irregular income. When you solve a specific problem for a specific person, you become the only choice they have. A general tool is a commodity, but a specific solution is a necessity. Starting this costs almost nothing, usually between $50. Once you set it up, these products can bring in anywhere from $200 to $8,000 every month. It becomes truly passive because the websites handle the delivery for you. When someone buys your file at 3 a.m., the system automatically sends it to their email while you are asleep. Your only real job is making sure your listing is easy to find by using the right words in your title. Zero production cost is great, and having no inventory is even better. But what if you could also charge people for the valuable information that is already sitting inside your head? Investment number 3 is all about micro online courses and ebooks. This is where you package a specific skill or an experience you have into a simple guide or a set of videos. Think of it this way. Everyone knows something that someone else is willing to pay to learn. You do not need to be a world-famous expert. You just need to be a few steps ahead of the person you are helping. To make this work, you pick one specific transformation. That is just a fancy way of saying a before and after result. You outline 5 to 7 clear steps to get there, record some videos or write them down, and then sell them on sites like Teachable or Gumroad. You can even sell them directly on your own website. Now, I see people make a huge mistake here all the time. They try to teach every single thing they know at once. They create a course called The Complete Guide to Freelancing. The problem is, that is too big and too boring. Broad courses usually fail because nobody feels like the information was made just for them. The fix is to be very specific. Instead of that big general guide, imagine a course titled, How I Went from 0 to 50 Clients as a Freelance Graphic Designer in Austin in 90 Days. See the difference? That speaks directly to a person with a specific dream and a specific problem. Specific transformations are what people actually buy. You can start this for almost nothing, maybe up to $200 if you want a decent microphone or basic editing software. Depending on how many people you reach, you could earn anywhere from $300 to $15,000 a month. Once the course is finished, you can use email automation to do the selling for you. It is like having a digital salesperson who never sleeps and never takes a day off. Everything we have talked about so far lives on a screen. But the physical world, it has been quietly printing money for people you have never even heard of. Yes, I know. You have probably seen vending machines mentioned in almost every video about making money. But there is a very good reason for that. Everyone who actually tried it saw real results. While some people are laughing and still scrolling through social media, the people who actually bought their first machine are now out there buying their third. A vending machine or an ATM is basically a physical employee that works for you 24 hours a day. You place it in a busy spot and it generates cash daily without you needing to be there. The process is simple. You buy the machine. You talk to a business owner, like someone who owns a gym, a large office, or a laundromat, and you agree on a place to put it. After that, you just keep it stocked and go back to collect your profit. However, there is one killer mistake that can ruin everything. If you put your machine in a quiet hallway where nobody walks, it isn't an investment. It is just a very expensive piece of furniture. To fix this, you must do a foot traffic audit. This means you actually count how many people walk by. You want to see at least 200 people pass that spot every single day before you ever sign a contract. If the people aren't there, the money won't be either. Starting this usually costs between $500 and $5,000. You can often find used machines for much less, which helps you start even faster. A single machine can bring in anywhere from $300 to $2,000 a month in profit. The best part is that the machine is the system. You can even use remote monitoring apps on your phone that send you an alert when the snacks are running low. It only asks for your attention when it actually needs it, leaving you free to focus on other things while it keeps clicking and collecting. Hey, let's pause for just a second. I want to talk to you directly. Seriously, take a moment and tell me in the comments. What are you doing right now to make money? Are you working a 9 to 5? Or are you trying out a side hustle? If you already have a small business or a system that works even when you aren't there 24/7, I really want to hear about it below. Let's turn this comment section into a real conversation where we can all learn from each other. And if you are finding this useful, if you're sitting there thinking, wow, I didn't know half of this was possible, then please hit that subscribe button right now. I put out new videos every single week to help you make money work for you, instead of you always working for money. I want to help you build a life where you are the boss and your bank account keeps growing even when you're taking a break. Okay, let's get back to the list, because we still have that boring reveal coming up next. Remember what I told you at the start? The most profitable investment on this list is also the most boring one. Well, here it is. The self-service laundromat. You have probably driven past 3 of them this week without giving them a second thought, but while you were driving by, those businesses were quietly printing money. A laundromat is a simple business where people pay to use washing machines and dryers that you own. It is one of the few businesses that runs almost entirely without a staff. The way it works is that you lease or buy a good location, install the machines, set your prices, and then let the customers serve themselves. You aren't selling your time. You are providing a tool that people desperately need. Let's look at the real numbers, because this is where it gets exciting. To get started, you are usually looking at a cost between $50,000 and $200,000. Now, I know that sounds like a lot compared to the other items on our list. But keep in mind that you can often buy an existing laundromat for much less, which is a great way to lower your risk. Once you are up and running, a typical laundromat can bring in anywhere from $5,000 to $30,000 every single month. In this industry, the average profit margin is between 20% and 35%. That means after you pay for your water, electricity, and rent, a very large chunk of that money stays in your pocket. The system is what makes this truly passive. Most modern machines take coins or use a simple app for payment. You don't need to stand behind a counter all day. You just need to set up a regular schedule to collect the money and make sure the machines are working. It is minimal daily labor for a massive monthly return, and here's why this business is indestructible. When was the last time you heard of a laundromat closing because nobody had dirty clothes? Exactly. It never happens. Whether there is a recession, a pandemic, or inflation, people will always need clean clothes. While other businesses are struggling to find customers, your machines just keep running, and the cash just keeps coming in. Here is what all 4 of these investments have in common, and it is not what most people tell you. First, let's be honest. None of these are glamorous. You won't see people bragging about washing machines or budget spreadsheets on a private jet. Second, none of these promise that you will be rich by tomorrow morning. And third, all of them require real hard work at the very beginning. You have to spend time setting them up, finding the right locations, or creating your digital files. But all of these share one big secret that most jobs never will. They are systems that keep working even when you are not there. Most people trade their hours for dollars. If they do not show up to the office or the store, they do not get paid. These investments break that rule. I want you to think about this for a second. Right now, as you are watching this video, somewhere in the world, an Airbnb guest is checking out and leaving a 5-star review for a room. At this very same moment, a digital template is being downloaded for the 300th time this month. Somewhere, a vending machine is dropping a snack for a worker at 2 a.m. And a row of washing machines is spinning in a laundromat that is otherwise completely empty. All of that is income. None of it needs a person to be standing there. That is the power of building a system. Once you do the hard work to get it started, the system takes over the daily labor. It does not get tired. It does not take vacations. And it does not care what time of day it is. It just keeps working, which finally gives you the freedom to decide what you want to do with your own time. The question was never which one of these is best. The question, the only one that actually matters, is which one you can start with what you have this week, before your research turns into another good intention that never actually moves. We often get stuck thinking and planning, but wealth is built by people who take a small step, while everyone else is still watching. So let's build your plan right now with one tiny action for each. If you like the idea of rental arbitrage, go online tonight and search Airbnb arbitrage plus the name of your city. Spend just 20 minutes looking at what is out there. If you want to try digital products, grab a piece of paper and list 3 small problems you have solved for yourself recently. For those interested in courses or ebooks, write down one specific transformation you can teach and the 5 steps it takes to get there. And if you are looking at the physical world, take a drive around your neighborhood tomorrow. Look for a local laundromat or a busy gym that looks like it could use a vending machine. That is it. Just one small move to prove to yourself that you are starting. Next week, I am breaking down exactly how to negotiate a vending machine placement from scratch. I will give you the script to use, the pitch to make, and the exact numbers you need to know. Subscribe so you don't miss it. I'll see you then.